Hello there, and welcome to another rambling walk. I have to say, in a hedgerow like this, you know, with dog roses and blackberry flowers and lots of other different plants here, this should be buzzing with insects this time of year. I should be seeing bees everywhere, and butterflies, and flies. I'm hardly seeing anything. It's mid-June, it's midsummer's day today. This should be buzzing. It's quite upsetting, really. There's a little bit more activity here amongst these bramble flowers, but even so, I mean, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a few more here, as you can probably hear, but there's still no more than about 10-15 bees covering this whole patch, which goes all the way along here. There's a little beetle. He's quite busy. And we obviously had a bit of a big branch come down in the storm a few days ago. Oh, now we've got some horses coming. I had to put Harris on a lead there. He actually loves horses and he loves cows, but he goes running up to them as if to say, "You look like really big, interesting dogs. Do you want to play?" And sometimes it can spook them. And there were a couple of young ponies amongst that little group of 4 horses. So, anyway, he's off the lead now and back to his usual huffing and puffing self, aren't you? Good, on we go. 2 skylarks over the field, if you can hear them above the noise of the jet. You know, I wouldn't wish for the COVID pandemic back, but the one thing I really enjoyed was how quiet it was without any aircraft and without any road noise. It was lovely. There's definitely 2 skylarks up there. And a chuffing pug, obviously. There's always a chuffing pug. But it's a beautiful sound. The skylarks, I mean, not the pug. Another interesting little structure here today. I assume it must be local school kids or kids who live locally or whatever, but they seem to be in the process of creating a small house here with this stand of 4 ash trees. Looks like that might be the first beam. Interesting. I should look forward to seeing how it develops. I used to do a lot of that sort of thing when I was a boy growing up in Cornwall. We're very lucky we had a lot of countryside around us. Might have got a lot of countryside here. You'd have to be in Cornwall to get countryside. It's one of the joys of living in Britain. But yeah, we would go out for hours on end. Of course, no mobile phones in those days. No way of finding out where we were or what we were up to. And we would gather up twigs and we would make things. I mean, I can remember making quite sturdy platforms quite high up in trees. If we had fallen out then we would have done ourselves a mischief. We built these platforms high up in the trees. We would sit up there and we just watch the world go by. Yeah, we weren't up to anything in particularly bad, or we might have had a crafty cigarette up there. You know, we might have had the occasional naughty magazine, but nevertheless, it was our little place. We had to climb maybe 20-25 feet up in the air to sit on this platform. But what you also got from up there was an extraordinary view of the wildlife and the countryside around. And for me, that's always been a fascination. It still is. Now, when I say naughty magazines, bear in mind I'm talking about the early 70s here. And, you know, this is pre-internet and pre all that sort of thing. And the availability of what we would now call pornography was virtually nil. You know, the occasional girly mag like Playboy or something like that would be a very rare treat. Most of the time it was things like Health and Efficiency, which was a naturism magazine. So it had lots of naked men and women running around in black and white. And in the older editions, so the late 60s, early 70s, all of the naughtiest areas were airbrushed out, or they'd be standing behind teapots or holding beach balls in the way. I'll be honest with you, as I approached my mid-teens, 13, 14, I still wasn't entirely sure what a lady's undercarriage looked like. It's hilarious now when you look back on it, isn't it? And also a bit scary because kids now have got access to everything. And it's giving them a very skewed idea of what normal is. It really is. At least those old health and efficiency magazines, you know, people had cellulite and beer bellies and wobbly bottoms and boobs of all different sizes and shapes. I think that was healthier. It really was healthier. Of course, the other way that we got hold of saucy material was so-called bush porn, which is what we called it at the time, without a hint of irony, despite the fact that the Brazilian wax had yet to be invented. And what I mean by bush porn is that we would go into the woods and places like that, and we would find magazines stuffed into the holes in trees, or stuffed into bushes and hedges. And I always wondered what sort of person put them there, until of course I got to be an older teenager when I could actually get hold of these magazines, and I didn't want them at home where mum and dad would find them. So I started doing the same and hiding them in those places. And you realise this is the slightly older generation passing it on to the next generation, which is kind of nice, like a legacy of porn. Well, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll keep doing more of the same. So until next time, bye bye.